Today's Global Career Scholarship Program video is about my school, Hanyang University. And if you're interested in applying to the Global Career Scholarship Program Graduate Studies, Hanyang University, specifically business major, this is the perfect video for you. And if you're interested to know more about the scholarships, the schools here in South Korea, I'll be making some videos about them in the future. But for now, this is specific to Han University and my experience as a global career scholar back in 2022 to 2024. Hello, this is Justin. I am a Global Career Scholarship awardee back from the Philippines back in 2021. And now I'm living here in South Korea under F2 visa. So for today's video is very interesting and I want to share some information about my school, Hani University, and the course I took up, and then my experience as a Filipino, as a GKS student, and as a foreigner here in South Korea. By the way, if you like this video, learned something from this, and you think this is valuable for you, please like, share, comment, whatever you want to share and comment. I'll probably be answering them in the next few days. Bye bye. So let's start with why I selected Hanyang University. So when I applied for Global Career Scholarship Graduate Studies in 2020, I am torn between embassy track and the university track, and then which schools I would want to get into. Of course, the Sky University, South Korea's top three universities, Seoul National, Korea University Yonsei, were in my list. But for business, the best school for business here in South Korea is actually Sungkyun Kwan University, and there's also KAIST MBA. And then, of course, the top three skies. And then Hanyang is also good. Chungang is also good. And all other universities. But when I was selecting back in 2020, I don't want to get very confident. I know my grades. I know my experiences. I know my skill. I know my essay writing. But I'm also trying to assess if the university will be accepting me with the credentials I'm offering. The only advantage I had during that application season is I had a working experience, which is imperative for any MBA student applying for um, an MBA course. So you have to have at least work experience, knowledge of the industry, a knowledge of how to run a business, which would supplement your MBA studies. But other that will be a day for another topic for another day. So when I was applying then, I was thinking of getting to Sungkyun Kwan University being the top business school, and also trying to think of KAIST because of their Techno MBA, and then of course Hanning University because of the English course, and they have a specific track, which is the one I took. It's called Korea and Asian Business Studies MBA. This is very interesting because it's an international MBA, not global, but very focused to Korea and Asian setup. So you would study how Central Asians do their business, the culture, and how East Asians will do it, how Southeast Asian would do business, and also South Asians, and it's all Asia related, with a specific concentration in Korea, how it developed, and this specific track, Korean Asian Business Studies MBA, had a partnership with with Hanyang University's School of for International Studies, allowing students from the MBA to enroll to courses in the international studies and vice versa. What is the outcome? So, when I graduated, I received two certificates. One is for the business, the MBA track, and then I got an international studies expert certificate, which I got, meaning I studied MBA, but I also did a minor in international studies. And then I got a 4.5 GPA, which made me the summa cum laude for the graduating batch. So that's another story. Got into Hanyang University because I think of my work experience, my skill in English, and then my academic competencies and the whole package. It fit. Culturally, I see like the university has a very progressive, business minded culture, which aligned perfectly with what the education I had in the Philippines. I also graduated from an international business school for my bachelor's degree, University of Asia and the Pacific, which I think was a solid connection. There's a solid connection between my working educational culture in the Philippines and here in South Korea. So I leveraged on that specific synergy and then applied for Han University, which I got in. So that was the topic about Han University. So now let's go to the Korean Asian Business Studies MBA. Again, it's a 100% English track. So all courses are in English. The required majors, the required courses are in English. The professors, there's a mixture of foreigner professors and their Korean professors, but all of them are required to speak in English. So even if you're in a class of about Korean history and business, it still be taught in English. So that's one thing I liked. Because again, I don't want to make my MBA experience less understandable, because if it's in Korean, for sure I will not be able to capitalize on that, which actually is now a regret of mine. I wished I studied harder and learned Korean before I actually graduated, because now I'm suffering. But yeah, Hanyang University CABS MBA, it's an English taught program, and then it's very well connected to the industry. It's actually through the CABS program that I found my current job, because CABS program had a partnership with my company. Before even I graduated, I presented some international research papers, like a business plan, which I think my current company liked. That's why eventually I got hired and got offered a job. So again, with Hanyang University, they have very close ties to the industry. They have connections with big and top conglomerates here in South Korea, Samsung, Hyundai, LG. I mean, it's very well connected. So again, it's anchoring to the concept of businesses engineering as one of the key priorities for the school. So with CAPS MBA program, I was able to basic MBA programs like multifaceted learning experience, HR, organizational, strategic, marketing, business, finance, accounting, name it. What I really like the most would be the company visits. So we visited my current company, what's part of the tour before. We also go to a lot of AI companies here in South Korea related to technology business that does international business, because again, the idea is after graduating from the MBA program, you're expected to join the workforce, and as an international student with an international experience, culture and language, that could be your advantage. And I think that is currently what I'm using with my current work. I am their international ambassador, um, managing international engagements. Projects internationally are done and managed by me. So that's the thing. CABS MBA program offered that. And then for Hanyang University CABS MBA program, again, as I mentioned before, I got cross-cultural experience with the international studies. So when I graduated, I received the MBA program plus a minor in international studies. So if you're applying for the CABS MBA program, specifically, not specific, but more in general, Hanyang University, these are the things that I want you to think of. The International Affairs Office of Hanyang University during my first few semesters were a bit mid tier. I mean, they're not of high quality. They try, but again, it's a mid tier. So they would provide updates, but sometimes it's quite difficult to negotiate. But what I like about them is that they will hold they will hold regular meetings with MBA not just for MBA students, for all GKS students at Hanyang University, Seoul campus, and then discuss the activities and plans for the years. It's so in that case, we're not blindsided about what's happening here in South Korea, what are the changes with the scholarship and such. I really like that because some schools would just email. At least if it's structured this way, you have a direct contact to the people in the other end, just not just emailing them, which I really appreciated because again, it gives us more familiarity with the people behind the computer, the email and such. But the one downside I think of is that they find it very difficult to hire foreigners. So we provided a suggestion. If you want to deal with foreigners more efficiently, imperative to have a foreigner, at least an English speaking foreigner, with your team that could answer your questions, that can answer the questions of the students and put it in a foreigner's tone. Again, what they just do is like they draft the Korean text, paste it in Google Translate, and then that's it. It's obvious that it's just Google translated, but again, I'm understanding that because I'm here in South Korea and I'm expected to speak in Korean, understand things in Korean. But as an international student, at least I'm expecting or hoping for more leniency or help in that aspect. So I think they have changed a lot in the past few years, which is a welcomed change. And yeah, I think students now are getting more acclimated to the Korean culture. Because again, as students, our entry to the Korean culture is our university. It's like a stamp in our credentials. I graduated from this school. We carry the brand of where we graduated from. In South Korea, this used to be a strong presence or influence in terms of where you'll be, but now it's diminishing. It's more of your competencies. But again, you cannot take away that concept that if you graduated from Sky University, from the top 5 universities, top 10 universities, you already have a not as competitive as before, but an advantage. So yeah, which is important if you're selecting for your schools. Again, GKS is with the Global Korea Scholarship Program, it doesn't stop there. Once you have received the scholarship program and you have graduated, the responsibility is with you. You're responsible for your life here in South Korea. You're responsible about your education. You're responsible about your Korean language skill. After your MBA program, your PhD program, your master's in engineering program, you will determine where you will go. Will you be in the academe? Will you be on the research field? Will you be on the business field? Will you go back home? Everything is with your control. That's why, again, it's very important that when selecting schools, you align with the school, you align with the course, you align with the opportunities. And that's how it goes. So the most important thing when I was selecting my course, my school, is that I had to make sure that the school I'm selecting can provide the opportunities I needed, can provide advantage for me in case I need them in the future. Also, what I liked about Han University in general is they really bring a lot of conglomerates to the university. They would invite them for like I think next week there's a leadership workshop for IT business individuals. They would bring people from SK, from Hyundai, from Samsung to speak, and then to organize summits, hackathons. These things are very important, especially if you're thinking of the future. And that's something I'm gonna be throwing onto you guys. If you're applying for the Global Career Scholarship Program and selecting your schools for master's, PhD, even for undergraduates, have you thought of these things? Have you thought of how this school can help me achieve a better life for me and my family, my friends? How can this school actually be my stepping stone for a better future here in South Korea? I think this is the perfect time for you to start thinking about that because, again, it will affect you one way or another. Till then, bye bye.